up, friend? We're back. So the Warriors lost 125-119 to the Indiana Pacers tonight. We can talk about the game. I actually thought it was a spirited effort at the end. I could see some positives, see a bunch of stuff, but let's be real. There's only one thing anyone cares about first, and that's what's up with Steph Curry. So we're recording this Wednesday evening, 8:05 p.m. Pacific time. So who knows when you're listening to it? Maybe there's a little more diagnosis, but we had to bring on friend of the show and light years insider, Dr. Narav. So let's talk about this. So Steph Curry hurts his shoulder, and he's obviously getting an MRI tomorrow. Everyone listening to this has probably replayed the video of it and tried to make their own diagnosis 100 times. Tell me like what you see as his doctor right now.
All right. So, I think the first thing, just to calm everyone down, very rarely do shoulder injuries lead to the end of the season. So I think we're if anything at all, worst case scenario, we're talking maybe a chunk of the season, but nothing like Curry's out, see it in 2023. So that's number one. The three things that pop to mind, the most obvious thing, obviously, you worry about is whenever your arm's extended out, someone runs into it, did your shoulder pop out or did it partially pop out? And that's kind of the number one thing you worry about. Number two, you worry about a stinger, but it seems like they ruled that out. And then three, did he just strain a rotator cuff muscle? Things just hurt. So obviously rotator cuff, kind of just a general muscle strain would be number one, maybe a little shoulder subluxation. The shoulder didn't seem to pop out all the way. You would probably see, something like that. There'd be video of that. So my gut feeling is they get this MRI. Things, maybe shows a little bit of subluxation, a little bit of muscle stuff, a couple weeks out and he'd be back. But obviously we'll wait to see what the MRI shows.
So no dislocation. That's what I heard. That's what I care about. My little brother's he's a football player, and he was like, "Well, just pop that shit back in and get back out on the field. You'll be fine."
Your brother is like the quintessential football player.
I told him maybe not the case. So I saw you tweet out the timeline for. I'm not even trying to say the word. Was 3.5 weeks, right?
Yeah. Subluxation. Yeah. When it kind of partially comes out and pops back in. Very common. NBA players very rarely need surgery for that. So 3-4 weeks for something like that. Even a full dislocation, even if that happened, you're still looking 7 to 8 weeks. Very rarely, first time it pops out, do you need surgery?
That might not be the season, but that's probably the season if it is 7 to 8 weeks. How come? How about this? Let's walk it backwards. How it didn't look like a play that mattered. Like he kind of reached in and honestly, he does that 50 times a game. So why does that is it overwork? Is he overworked? Is it just it was a fluky thing? How does that happen generally in your experience?
Yeah. So I think it was more that the arm was more completely extended out. And then you kind of got the impact right at the arm. I think if your arm is a little bit bent, or someone kind of runs in more in the elbow, but I think it's just, there's so much kind of force on that shoulder when it gets hit the arm. So that's the reason why it happened. And I also think part of it's just bad luck. It's like when he hits the other player in the, arms in a certain position, but I think it's the full extension and the full force of it, that makes it a little bit more likely.
So explain to me how to say it again.
Subluxation.
Subluxation. Okay. Thank you for educating us, doctor.
Yes.
And in layman's terms, it's a variation of a strain to the shoulder region, right?
Sort of, yeah. So what essentially has happened is the shoulder starts to pop out, but doesn't. Okay. And the reason why you can get a little bit quicker back with that is that the cartilage and the muscles don't take as big of a hit. So it starts to go all the way to the dislocation, but then pops back in itself, versus dislocation where it pops out, all the cartilage gets torn, muscles get torn and comes back in. So that's why it's a little bit quicker return. Best case scenario would be nothing popped out. And then when that player impacted him, his muscles just fired really hard, and then the muscles got a little bit strained.
Got it. Okay, good. Because I asked because we're obviously used to athletes, particularly basketball players, with strains to lower body ligaments because that's the most common range of it. And so I'm trying to translate what that would mean if it was a knee strain or a hamstring strain or something like that.
Yeah. So I think the kind of the equivalent, let's say if it was a muscle strain, it would be like a hamstring, a couple weeks kind of, thing. Subluxation would be like an MCL. let's think Debo Samuel, throwing some 49er stuff in there, and then the dislocation would be the 8 to 12 week long broken Trey Lance time, kind of severity in terms of what you kind of relate it to.
Hey, how come I thought Trey? Well, it was weird that they were saying Trey might be since we got you here. It's weird that they were saying he might be able to. They didn't say he would come back, but I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, timeline wise, talking about Trey for a second, like it totally makes sense possibility wise, January, February from a medical standpoint for someone who has that injury to come back. But when you rule him out, it's not worth to take that risk. So if he was like just a guy playing, rec basketball, yeah, he could come back 4 to 5 weeks, 4 to 5 months after the injury. But playing an NFL game, running around, potentially need more time to rehab.
Brock's better anyway, so they'll be all right. They'll be all right.
Yeah. Brock's the savior right now. He's all we got going in the Bay Area. Steph's down. We don't know. Is there a chance that it's nothing? Like, is there a chance that this is a quote unquote stinger? Like we've all got that in playing sports.
Yeah, it's a very huge possibility. I mean, if he took contact, there was like a fall on the ground, like his shoulder may just have he played, he felt something weird. He's like, oh, I haven't felt something like this before. He's obviously very common with ankle injuries, and they're just getting the MRI because it's Curry, and it's going to show look, everything's fine. They might say diagnosis is a strain. He'll be day to day. That would be the best case scenario.
That does sound like a good case scenario. All right,
day to day. Yeah, it feels like that would be shocking at this point. He was in a lot of pain. I mean, I guess sometimes, but it's also I think one of those things where it feels like it sounds like it could be fluky, like his foot injury last season. Where I think as Warriors fans, you think this type of injury, you think to yourself, is it because he's playing in a back-to-back? Is it because he's playing? So no, you're shaking your head. So that's out of the
So all the data, except for pitchers, throwing athletes, overuse upper extremity wise, no, lower extremity, different story. But I think this is just fluke. Yeah, no blame to the coaching.
So this is not a consequence of Steph throwing weird bowling shots with the ball in pregame.
No, not at all. He can continue to do that. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Okay. All right, Doc.
Well, 3 weeks.
So we appreciate. Well, first off, hopefully we just find out it's a stinger. It's nothing tomorrow. But end of the day, we're not going to know for what. When would you expect? Okay, so they get an MRI tomorrow. Just studying an MRI. When can they actually make some sort of conclusive judgment on what they're seeing? Do they need to wait for the swelling to go down longer, or is it something they can look at I don't know, 10 a.m. tomorrow and have some idea?
I think they'll know pretty quickly. So as soon as he gets the MRI, they'll know pretty definitively. I think if there's a delay, then you get worried about, is there something in there that they have to run by his agent, multiple different doctors. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But if it's just something straightforward, as soon as he gets the MRI, and that may be complicated a little bit by the travel, where are they going to get it because they're on the road. But as soon as they get it, we should know pretty quickly. Yeah.
All right. Cool. Got it. Okay. So if we don't have an answer by 10 a.m., he has to get an amputation. I got it.
Thank you, Doc.
Doc, I appreciate you coming on. Have a great evening.
Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
By the way, short story about Dr. Narov. My best friend's a doctor. He's moving back to the city. Dr. Narov, man of many connections, by the way. Got my buddy a chat with his sources. So Dr. Narov, good man. Man of many talents.
A man of many talents, indeed. So I feel look, he didn't seem particularly worried, and obviously we're all going off of just game film. But the issue with the Warriors is a 3-week injury is nothing in the scheme of things. A 3-week injury for this 14 and 15 team who can't do anything without Steph Curry might be a death sentence. And that's what's annoying. And so I don't really want to relive this game. I know the voicemails we're going to get to later are going to make us relive parts of it, whether we want to or not. So
yeah, we can riff off of those. Yeah.
I feel like that's a bigger thing. I think there's 2 things I want to talk with you about before we get to voicemails. Let's start with Jordan Poole.
Okay. You want me to go?
Yeah, I'm just going to frame this. I gave him a lot of space the early part of the season. We're entering game 30, and I'm officially frustrated. maybe Steve was right for not playing him for as long as he did, because I thought Poole looked amazing last year and was so decisive, and I felt like he should be starting over Clay for large portions of it. And the regression, dude, like indecisive, dribbling, terrible shots, pulling when he has no reason to, taking an extra dribble when he should shoot it, like just no feel for the game. I don't know what to do with him, man. It wasn't any better with no Clay tonight, and it wasn't any better when Steph went down either.
I'm operating under the assumption that Steph's going to be out for a couple of weeks. He has a couple of weeks to remove all that bad taste in everyone's mouths, and I'm sure his own, because he's obviously not happy with the way he's playing. So I think quick redemption is on the docket here for Jordan Poole. I agree with you. I echo all those sentiments. All the bad stuff about Jordan Poole has been true thus far. We've seen him play so much better. Even in the postseason, on the highest stage, we saw him play better. So on one hand, I am frustrated, and to me, it feels like he didn't get better at anything in the offseason. On the other hand, it does feel like he is young. I think teams, they have the scouting report on him. They are guarding him in the way like, hey, we know everything you want to do. There's nothing you're going to do right now that's going to surprise us. And you don't have guys around you that are good enough to bail you out like they did last season. Even a Damian Lee and a Bielitsa right now around Jordan Poole would help him so much. And the Warriors don't have that. And so I think that's part of it. But they need him to stay alive, or else they go 0-8 without Steph in the next 2 weeks, right? So look, take away the contract is the contract. You and I sit here and Joe Lacob's like, take it away. I would love to not pay the contract. He was always going to get paid something. So what? Like, were you not supposed to pay him that? Maybe you don't pay him that much. Maybe you pay him $4 million less. But Draymond knocked him out, so you got to pay a little bit extra to keep him. So my thing is, it is 30 games. It is frustrating, but where he can make so much of that back is, dude, Steph is out. You are going to have to do what you did at the end of last season. So maybe that's where he finds his rhythm. Maybe. But you're right. Nothing he has shown across 29 games this season says he will. But last season does. And he's in the starting lineup. He isn't playing next to Anthony Lamb and JaMychal Green anymore, right? He is playing next to Clay and Draymond, and hopefully Wiggins is back here soon. So
what's your I have one thought, but I'll ask you first. What's your diagnosis for fixing him? Like, what's a one thing you'd tell him you'd want him to do? Coach Lou, get your hat on.
Oh boy.
But like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what is the one thing you think can get him back on track?
Stop overcomplicating basketball. It's not you just said it though. The indecisiveness to either shoot or not shoot or get someone involved. I think that actually has snowballed from the beginning of the season to now, where he had multiple possessions today where it's just, dude, just shoot the ball or take a dribble and pass the ball and get it back. Klay Thompson has the same issue. The good thing about Klay Thompson is he doesn't dribble the ball as much as Jordan Poole because he's a shooting guard, so they don't let him dribble the ball as much. But Jordan Poole has no choice but to dribble. He is the point guard. So he's made it very complicated for himself because he's had to play with guys that aren't good and off the bench to start the season. And he's now doing and he's now had to do this, and he struggled doing this. So that, to me, that's it, man. He's good. He's played well in his basketball career.
Yeah, you don't play as well as if you're not talented.
Yeah,
that goes without saying.
He's good enough to succeed. It's just that's a funny one.
By the way, Andy's laughing. So if you don't join us, you should join us for the live show on YouTube. From iBasketball TV, Jordan Poole's legacy's on the line without Steph. Kind of lighten the mood a little bit. Just a little bit. There's only one other thing I want to talk about before we get to the voicemails.
Yep.
And that's Moses Moody. Moses Moody, who has, I feel like it's weird he's been out of the rotation the entire, like, it's the only thing I feel like you and I are criticizing Steve Kerr for in this early part of the season. In general, I don't really have complaints about the way Steve's handled most things. But I don't agree with Moses not playing the whole way. And another game today where he looks, let's just put it this way. This team has no depth, and he looks better than guys who play. It's that simple, right? Like I don't need to overcomplicate this. You have like 7 players and he's one of them. So why is he not on the floor? Shooting the ball well. It's like the Ty Jerome over Moses. That's the type of the overcomplication. Like I get it. Ty Jerome's more pass first, but like
yes.
put your best players on the floor, man.
It's fucking so. How many? By the way, how many times have we done this with Steve? How many times have we done this? It's Jordan Poole, it's Jonathan Kuminga, and now it's Moses Moody. We 3 times.
Bro, we can go, Chioza last year, but we can go back so many. There's Wanamaker. You can go back to Quinn Cook. You can go, we can go deeper. In like 15, 16, it was less of an issue because it was like Sean Livingston. That was actually the right decision. But like, it's just, back then it was the big man. It was just like, do we really need to see Anderson Varejao on the floor?
Jordan Bell, let's get him some minutes, and Steve was right. Well, Steve was right. Jordan Bell not making it in the NBA.
He won that battle.
Yeah, right. Patrick McCall, and but Steve would play James Michael McAdoo, so it's like, well, he's terrible, and then he would play Anderson Varejao, which, like you said, he's fucking terrible. In this case, Jordan Poole, good. And Nico Mannion and Brad Wanamaker would play over him. Then Jonathan Kuminga, right? And we would see guys like Anthony Lamb, JaMychal Green, James Wiseman would play over him. Now it's like you had a tweet today. Jonathan Kuminga might be closing playoff games if the Warriors make it, right? And so he's now the guy that's going to play 25 minutes.
I should have prefaced that
if they make it. And then the third guy on the list, and again, all these guys are lotto picks. I mean, except for Poole, but he's got the money now, so he's basically a star player. And then you've got Moses Moody, who's the third guy on the list. He should be playing. And like you just said, I get it. Ty Jerome, I get it. He passes first. He can handle the ball. Don't really turn it over. Turn it over.
By the way, Wanaburger's a pretty solid nickname for Wanamaker. Ty Jerome is Wanaburger 2.0 from Phil AM Dubs fan.
I almost said that, JaMychal Green, I think when Brad Wanamaker, when the Warriors signed him, we kind of thought like solid vet, like it could be good. And we said the same thing about JaMychal Green. Hey, but JaMychal Green played well today. He had a couple threes, so maybe he ends up better than Wanamaker. But some pickups don't work out. I don't get too mad about that stuff. Sometimes they just don't work out.
Yeah. We got a super chat from the Base Mugs. More pressure on Lacob to stop playing 2K GM right now. I will say this: there's a segment of Warrior fans, and ones you and I are friends who think like this is like his the master plan to tank and get like more lottery picks. I don't agree with that. I know how much money they make when they're in the playoffs. I don't think Joe Lacob wants to turn down playoff revenue. So I'm not buying that. I think they think they can do both things at once, and they don't want to have to make a decision to go one way or the other until they have to, and they might have to make that decision.
They have to.
You know what I'm saying? But it's like, I mean, how many startups you worked at over the years? You know the vibe. You know what I'm talking about. Honestly, you know what I'm talking about. Where it's like, why can't we change the world? Why can't we be? Why can't we be the new way people process their office supply orders? Like
there's only one Salesforce in the world. You know what I mean? More often than not, you're just gonna get acquired by a company and you're gonna go to shit.
But you're gonna find a niche. Someone's gonna acquire you. Everyone's gonna be happy. Yeah. But anyway, the long and the short of it is, they're gonna have to make a decision sooner than later. Should we get to the voicemails?
I can't wait. I cannot wait.
To the goons.
Yes, Sam Incendiary and Andy Love. Yo, Steph, man, he's the King Godington of the Brodies. Ty Jerome and Anthony Lamb, man, good in October, not good in December. But I doubt they make a trade. Warriors back to being a meme team. Sorry, guys, last year seems like it might have been an anomaly. And yet, wouldn't pick anybody against them in the playoffs. That being said, Julius Randle having a great week. And next, we're thinking about moving quickly. What do you guys think about that for the Warriors?
Wow. My friend, I recognize this voice. I don't want to call him a regular, because that would mean he calls all the time, but a lurking regular. How's that sound? We are not moving to Julius Randle territory on the show. I will pivot this show to draft talk. I'm gonna be sending Andy Cam Whitmore film, Dariq Whitehead scouting reports. We're gonna be talking about if he's quick off his feet before we talk Julius Randle on the show.
Listen, dude. If Julius Randle is on this team, you know how every podcast duo is breaking. Like I'm gone. Do the show. You can do this fucking show yourself, man. I'm done. I'm done. I'm retiring. I'm gonna go.
We talk Blake Lively gets off his feet a little quicker than James Wiseman. That's a move. All right, we got a super chat here from Solomon Tech. Sam, still don't think we need a trade? You know what? I appreciate this. Is how I know my takes are good, because 50% of fans think I don't want to trade, and 50% of fans think I want to trade everyone at all times. I never get the benefit of the doubt. I do think they need a trade. Anyway, let's keep moving, Tim.
It's your fault. Blame Sam.
I have no idea where Jordan Poole. No, he does not play for the Warriors because he can't do anything right. I'm very pissed off at him. But hey, down the stretch, the second unit really worked hard. And I can appreciate that with our big guys going out. Have a wonderful. This is Kareem McCollum from New York. Good night.
I can always appreciate Kareem's calls because she brings positivity. Did you like?
I was gonna say I can tell Kareem is mad because she always brings positivity and she sounded angry.
she gave us a little at the end with the second unit, but yeah, she is wow. Yeah.
Good afternoon, guys. Love the podcast. Love what you guys do. Love your presence on Twitter. Just wanted to say, hot take, with the way that the Warriors are presently constructed, they will not be a playoff team. They will be a play-in team or not make the playoffs. You guys can see it on the bench. You guys can see it in the low IQ. And James Wiseman needs to be traded. And I'm also starting to believe Moody needs to be moved too. They need IQ. They need size. They need defenders. It's that simple. Jordan Poole, the reason why he was so great last year was because he didn't have to shoulder as much as he has to shoulder or he's expected to shoulder this season. It's clear. Look at the indecisiveness. His defense, of course, is trash. We know that. And, yeah, so hope I get you guys' opinion on what I just said.
He's right. He's right on Poole.
The Warriors are 2 games out of the 6th seed, which would obviously mean they're not in the play-in. And, yeah, I kind of agree with them. They feel like they're more of a play-in team than
they're a play-in team. They're a play-in team right now, even though they're 2 games out of the 6th seed. And you know when we're gonna find out they're a play-in team? When we find out tomorrow that Steph's out for 2 weeks. Like then it's like, all right, they're a fucking play-in team. You know what I mean? So he's right though. He's right on what they need. They need IQ players, and what do IQ players bring? They bring defense. And this team, Kareem talked about the energy that the unit finished with this game. They didn't get a single stop last 5 minutes of the game. I could have scored out there. It was embarrassing. And I know Michael Green, Jordan Poole, Dante DiVincenzo was awesome, but Dante can only do so much. Moses Moody was playing his ass off, but he's not a great defender right now in his career. Like, it's too early. No defense off the bench. No defense unless Draymond's completely locked in. Looney's exhausted. Like, it's just they need some guys that just know how to play defense.
Looney looks like he needs some oxygen, to be honest with you. Like, he just sits on the bench. I'm waiting for like the fight doctor to come over there and like give him something.
Yeah.
No, I mean you're right. Like it's way too many kids. That's what it comes down to. Way too many kids to win games. Anyway, let's keep moving, Tim.
Yeah. Keep going.
I just want to say, fuck Joe Lacob, fuck the front office. You have the best player in this fucking league. What the fuck? And also, Jordan's fucking Poole, bro. Like, you're doing nothing but fucking fall for no reason. shit. Again, Jordan Poole fucking sucks. I just want to say this again. He has been horrible this whole season. Just garbage. Like, his bad decisions all game long. Takes horrible shots. Doesn't defend. Doesn't do anything. But turns the ball over. You don't trust him with the ball ever to do anything anymore. He doesn't do anything anymore. It's all I can say. That's my thing. Fuck, this team sucks, bro.
Fuck.
Elite call. Chase back call tonight. No.
I thought that was me talking at first. I thought it sounded like myself, but geez.
By the way, that reminds me, we missed this off the top, Andy Lou. The chaseback player of the game. Sorry, the chaseback player of the week, Dante DiVincenzo.
Ooh.
Now, I could give it to Steph Curry because I could give it to him every week. And quite frankly, I should probably give it to him at least one of the weeks. But
It's only been 2 weeks.
Dante DiVincenzo, I thought Dante was the best Warrior against the Milwaukee Bucks. And I thought he played excellent tonight against the Indiana Pacers. Another 8-rebound game, 15 points, 3 assists. He hit 3 of 6 threes. He's coming around. He also had a very spirited quote post games where he said, this is Steph and the Warriors. The standard's high. I'm all in on Dante.
All in.
I hope they can keep him for more than a couple of years. He fits both basketball wise and like just culture wise what they want to do. That's my Chase Cashback player of the week.
You want me to add something on there?
No, you're good. All right, Tim.
Because I fucking agree. All right, let's keep it rolling. Let's keep it rolling.
Hey, Sam and Andy. It's Aaron Lau. Man, what a fucking game, huh? Oh, man, shoulder injury, Steph. Hope it isn't anything too crazy, but man, it's the same old song, huh? Dark days ahead. Just wanna send my best wishes and wish you guys well during the rest of this long season, man. It will be some dark days, so let's brace ourselves and yeah. Have a good one, guys.
Holy, is Alo all right? My guy, is he okay? He sounds like a Nay Roy tweet. If you he sounds like he's reading off the script lyrics and geez.
I mean, I need Tim play Marvin's Room. Give me the instrumental right now. That's what it sounded like to me. That's what I'm hearing. I'm just hearing him just looking in the mirror, realizing there's like 53 more of these. No Steph. We're very close to them calling up Jerome Robinson and Dusty Hannah and I'm gonna start making up names after that.
Hey, Biggie Jim. 18 points tonight, +5 last I checked. 1 rebound in 20 minutes. Oh, my guy. Look at him. Look at him cook. Get him up here.
Let him cook. Let Jim cook. Let's get to the next one.
Shout out to Kariba. There's some positive vibes.
Hi, Kamanati. This is Paritos here. I know I go OTT with the Kerr criticism on Twitter, but I think even you guys can agree that Kerr hasn't handled Kuminga and Moody's development pretty well, or well at all in fact this season. Like, I can't be the only one who thinks that if Moody and Kuminga had played or got the leash that Anthony Lamb, Ty Jerome, etc. have got throughout the season, our record would not only be better, but they would also increase their own trade value so that we could have actually traded them for some pieces. I know Kerr isn't our biggest issue, but at what point do we start questioning some of his methods? I really do think that he needs to change some of his ways. Of course, he's still a championship coach, and I wouldn't want to fire him or anything, but I do really think that we need to ask some questions. Let me know what you think about it.
Okay. I tweeted about this in the middle of the game. At some point, you just have to let the kids play basketball if you and the front office and the owner were in lockstep going into the season and saying, these kids have just got to figure it out. Because if they're not going to figure it out, what is the point of having them on the roster, right? Just trade Moses Moody. Give him up for a bag of chips. Like, just what does it matter what Moses Moody does or doesn't do if you're going to play guys like Ty Jerome over him? And it's not like Ty Jerome has been terrible all season. Same with Anthony Lamb. Those guys have actually had good minutes and good games. But as far as I'm concerned, isn't the point of this season to say, is Moses Moody going to be a rotation player in the postseason? And for you to figure that out, you can't figure that out if you can't get off the bench in a mid-December game against the freaking Pacers on a back-to-back, right? What is the point?
With no Wiggins or Clay. That's the part you're not even mentioning. Like literally the two starting wings are out. Honestly, like I was going to be more bombastic than you. Trade the kids or fire Steve Kerr, because I'm just tired. Like this whole, like, we're going to give Steve kids and then he's going to play a two-way guy over him as some sort of like tough love lesson. Like, it's tiresome, man. It's one or the other, you know? It doesn't feel like it's lock sync, and I don't know. There's not much else to say.
You're right, because they did it last season, and to me, it's like I would take
last
Steve
season.
Kerr.
They just had better vets. So.
Exactly. That's why I would take Steve Kerr's side. If I were to pick a side, I would be like, I would do what Steve Kerr wants: trade the kids and get some vets, and then you'll win another championship, or at least you'll be a 4 seed, 3 seed, 2 seed right now. But instead, you're trying to do, and it seems like Joe Lacob and Steve Kerr aren't aligned, which is why, by the way, I think, and I know you didn't say this on the last one, but I think that's why Bob Myers doesn't have an extension. I think that's why. It's just Bob Myers probably team Steve Kerr, and Bob Myers like, look, like it's not like he dislikes the kids, but he's probably more into what Steve wants to do, and Joe's probably not.
Or let me take another level. It's his job to make Steve get on the same, to get
Sure.
or it's his job to get everyone on the same page.
Sure.
And it's what is the point of drafting lottery picks if you're not going to play them? You know, like at its core, I do agree with you. By the way, that is a great point that we didn't get to. It's just like, yeah, like what are you doing here? You know, like. Figure it out, you know. So
and it's not like Moody and Kuminga are as bad as what Wiseman was at the beginning of the season. Moody and Kuminga can play. They can play.
My whole do you agree with me on another team? Moses Moody looks like a younger Desmond Bane, where he's just hitting like that might be a little bombastic, but like the dude could shoot, dude. Yeah, he can play. He can play.
But you know, he dribbles into the paint and turns it over 2 times a game, and that's why he doesn't play for 2 weeks at a time. And you know, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous because, and we can say it's ridiculous.
Only Clay's allowed to do that.
Well, honestly, like really, truly, like only Clay is allowed to do that because he's Clay. But you know how Clay got to become Clay? Because he was doing dumb shit for years before Steve got here. For years, and.
Clay, Remember him stepping out of bounds on threes all the time under Mark Jackson?
And he would also miss a bunch of shots, right? Wouldn't make a bunch of layups, would make so many mistakes
Layups.
over and over and over again. And you know, Steve doesn't like that and all that stuff. And it's just, now you're 14 and 15. And I don't think it's not like the Warriors would have won 6 more games if he had played those guys earlier. So it's not that, but let's get to the super chat here.
From William. So when is Jordan Poole going to work on his balance? This is the second straight year he just falls on his face for no reason when he has the ball. I don't even think balance is the issue for him, right? Like it's just flopping for no reason. I guess it gets back to what you were saying earlier. It's indecisiveness. Like go up hard or commit to it, you know?
Yeah, he's like spazzing on the court. I don't know. It's like It's like a little kid. Oh, actually, you have a little kid, but I guess not of age. But it's like those, you know, like those crazy like 5-year-old boys. It's never girls. Girls are usually never as crazy. But I used to work at a younger school, and you get these like 5, 6, 7-year-old kids that are just crazy and all over the place. They're running so fast, and they just fall on their face. You know what I mean? It's just like you know, and it's like cute because they're kids, and it's funny, and they start crying. But that's what Jordan Poole looks like. It's like, dude. Why are you just running around and all of a sudden your leg sideways and you fall on the ball and the ball goes out of bounds and nobody even touched you? It's like, you know, and it happens every game, every single game. It's like his brain is moving so fast, but his body's not caught up to his brain or something. I don't know what's going on. Anyway.
Tim, let's get to the next one.
Hey, it's your man Biz, long time listener. Just wanted to ask, now that we're all ready to hit the collective panic button, what's the move? What's the trade? Peace out.
What's the move? Samuel?
James Wiseman, Jonathan Kuminga, Jordan Poole for LeBron James. No, I don't know. Let me ask you this. Do you think they need a major what do you think they need?
Well, one thing they need is they need Steph to be healthy, obviously. Number 2 is they need at least 1 or 2 vets. And at this point, here's the problem is that I think they're stuck between a rock and a hard place with the guys that they can get, because I think, for example, Kelly Olynyk is we talk about him pretty much every show. Perfect fit for this team. But holy crap, are you going to give away James Wiseman for him? Like, that's the question. And Pop's not going to do that. Joe's not going to do that. For Kelly Olynyk, as much as you can tell Kelly Olynyk, you know what I mean?
More important, Joe's not going to do that. But yes.
Kelly Olynyk, he's good. But you're going to give up James Wiseman for that. You know what I mean? Even Jakob Poeltl, another guy that I know Warriors fans love, even he's a regular season player. He's not going to be on the floor that much during the postseason. You're going to give up James Wiseman for that? And I'm saying, like, I would do it most likely. But with the Warriors, I think it's like a 5% chance that they make that trade. So even these moves, I think that you and I may do them. But with the Warriors, I don't know. Sam, like, would they?
Feels unlikely right now. I don't know. But it felt unlikely that the Giants would throw $350 million at Carlos Correa. You don't know. If I asked you 24 hours ago, because I think it was 23 hours ago that it was announced.
Mm-hmm.
So 24 hours ago, if I asked you, I know where your head was at.
Let me tell you this though, man. The Giants were under an absurd amount of pressure, and I don't think the Warriors are under the same amount of pressure. The Giants, they were threatening to be like they were threatening. They're not going to be
There's years of pent upness. Whereas with this, it's just Sam and Andy and our guy Nate Mosby. You know,
like Warrior fans will live if the Warriors don't win the championship this season. But if the Giants had struck out and walked into next season with Mitch Haniger and Sean Manaea as like their 2 marketing campaigns going into the season, but right now, you know what I did today, Samuel? I looked at Giants tickets. I'm going to be at Giants opening day next season. I'm hyped. So, I'm a Brock Purdy, Carlos Correa guy. The Warriors are,
hey, Joe Lake, if you want Andy to lose money, get Jakob Poeltl. And just make sure your sales reps track that ticket so you can meet him outside. All right, Tim, let's get to the next one.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Even though we lost, I still kind of like the way, the young guys played towards the end. Besides the first half, they actually did pretty good. Yes, I know we lost, but they look good, What do you guys think?
No, they look bad. The Warriors look bad. The Warriors are bad, and they look bad. They played bad. It's all bad.
Yeah, I mean, I'll put it this way. Pacers got young players too. The bar is not looking better than Ty Jerome. The bar is looking better than Andrew Nembhard. Andrew Nembhard's a rookie.
Pretty
You
damn
know?
good. He's a pretty damn good rookie.
Warriors could have drafted him. I'm not saying they should have, but my point is that's maybe. I mean, he clearly fits, but I kind of like Patrick Baldwin too. But the broader point is rookie, 30th pick, playing in the NBA. Like, that's who you're comparing him to, not like, oh, this guy looks better than Ty Jerome.
Benedict Mathurin, Jalen Smith, those guys are young kids that are playing good basketball. Good basketball. From Marcos Rodriguez, Warriors are going to be like Warriors, I don't understand this. Warriors are like the Lakers after they won, let people leave. Sam, you understand this? No, I'm not.
I think the point is how the Lakers traded all their good players for Russell Westbrook. It's like 50-50 for me. I get the thing. Like, the Warriors let go of Otto and GP instead of just running it back. It's kind of similar. Timmy, we got any more?
Lakers are funny. Funny team.
What's up, guys? Isaac from Fremont calling in here. I went to the game on Saturday against Boston, and that the vibes from that entire thing was just amazing. The shit talk was there. It was a good experience. Hopefully you guys will talk about this yet on today's show, but what do you guys think is the biggest problem between the home and away games? It just seems like the vibe is off. Like, Steph was trying so damn hard that he got hurt tonight. It was just rough to see. But yeah, I just wanted to hear you guys' thoughts on the difference between those two.
That made me really sad.
Andy, actually, I'll give you this. That is a great fucking question. I can't think of a team who's this, like, 12-2 at home and 2-12 on the road. I know that's a little off, but, like, it shouldn't be that extreme. 12-2 at home and like 6-6 on the road makes sense to me, right? What do you contribute to?
I don't know if I think so. I think it's a rhythm thing, and a rhythm thing is based on, like, they need to get on a roll for these kids to keep playing well, and even for Jerome and Lamb, they need to be on a roll in the game. They can't just, like, it goes back to the lack of vets, where you can bring a vet in like Otto Porter and he can stop a run. He can do the little things to stop a run. But for these Warriors, you almost need to string together like 4 plays in a row. And even if right now the Warriors start this game 7-0 or they go up by 12, look how quickly the Pacers come back when the bench comes in. Because the bench is just going to play the same style and they're just going to lose that lead so quickly because they just don't have any rhythm. And that's not going to happen at home because home is good vibes, right? Especially for all these row guys. So I don't know. I think it just all goes back to the lack of just veteran players that they don't have on the team. All right, McWalter.
What do we got? Should we break out the voodoo and Lucky Charms for Steph, or hashtag lost season and suck for Scoot? I'm not a Scoot guy, just to be clear, but we're definitely not going down the draft path.
You're not a Scoot guy. You'll be shocked to learn that I don't really care for him either. But I don't know.
Are you ready to give up on the season and become a draft guy?
I'm not. I don't.
Okay. You just answered McWalter's question. That's what he's asking. Are we going to pray for the recovery of Steph, or are we going to be like, take the season off, bro?
No.
We're getting Wemby.
No. Look, there's a finite amount of time left with these guys. I don't need to say it. We know it. And they took a season off. They took 2 seasons off already. That's why they won the championship last year, right? It's unless you tell me Kuminga becomes Kawhi, if they just let Kuminga play 30 minutes a game every season, and Moses Moody becomes like Chris Middleton, and then James Wiseman becomes DeAndre Ayton or something, right? Like, you tell me those guys this season, they all of a sudden they become these great players because they got to play all these minutes, then yeah, sure. But who? How would we know that?
Last one, Tim.
Sammy, Andy, how are you, boys? Finally figured this fucking thing out.
Boy.
I was going to leave it about earlier during the game, but figured fuck it because of what happened with Steph. But yeah, maybe it's time people in the front office and certain team media members, after Brook Lopez yesterday hits a fadeaway and goes, "I'll start the bus." Maybe there's more than a problem they think there is. So maybe we get off our fucking ass and actually start, asking some questions based off what Steph's injury is going to be. Andy, I know you played basketball with Kurt. Maybe just ask him, "Hey man, what's the story?" Because now, by my count, Sammy, there's basically, 7 dead roster spots now? So maybe if you didn't treat the Pacers game like fucking Game 7 in the NBA Finals, Steph wouldn't be throwing his arm out getting a shoulder hurt. Anyway, that's not here or there. But, yeah, boys, what do you guys think? I think it's probably time to ask some hard questions because we've got a big enough sample now. So get off your fucking ass and start treating this team like it's serious. Yeah, cheers, boys.
Perfect.
Luke, you are my spirit animal. I agree with you. Everything comes back to the fact that they need to realize number 30 is on the roster.
His call, and then there was a call that said Steph came out and tried so hard that he tore his shoulder. It's kind of sad, but it's kind of what happened. Is Steph knew that with the loss last night that he'd have to come out and play 150% and try to get this win for the Warriors, and he had 27 points at halftime, and they were down by 20. Dude, he had 50 points earlier this season in Phoenix, and they lost by 20. Holy shit. The Warriors need to figure something out. They need to figure something out, and they need to, if he's going to be out for an extended period of time, and honestly, like 1 week is an extended period of time, the Warriors need to look themselves in the mirror and say, we need to do something. They don't have to make a trade right now, but they need to realize they need to make a decision and say, we need to pick one. Because if the Warriors end the season with a roster like this, Sam, I mean, are they even going to be? Anyway, they need to pick something. Let's stop. For me, I'm going to pause there. They need to pick a lane. I think time has come.
Pick a lane. I agree with you. That's where I'm gonna leave it. Appreciate everyone. We'll be back hopefully with positive Steph news.